Ukraine is conducting fresh drills near the Belarus border. The soldiers carried out weapon safety procedures and formation movements. The training missions included neutralizing enemy equipment, storming and retreating, and evacuating the wounded. Alexei Navalny, a Russian opposition figure and staunch critic of President Vladimir Putin, has appeared in a court in Moscow via video link. This was the first time he was seen in months amid health fears. Navalny said it was absurd to argue against the charges that he had committed terrorism while in prison. His case will be tried in a military court. Three Russian military aircraft have been intercepted in international airspace over the Baltic Sea. They were flying without transponder signals. Germany and Britain sent Eurofighter jets to identify the aircraft. NATO allies have earlier pitched in to protect the airspace over Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia. This is because the three Baltic countries don't have their own fighter jets. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that the Baltic Sea grain deal has reached a deadlock. He added that there are still obstacles blocking Russian exports. Last month, the pact was renewed for 60 days. Russia has signaled that it may not agree to any further extension unless its demands are met. Moscow wants the West to remove sanctions on exports of Russian grain and fertilizer. The Taliban has reportedly killed the mastermind behind a suicide attack at Kabul International Airport in 2021. This is according to the US. 13 American troops and many civilians were killed in the attack. It took place when US troops were in the process of pulling out of Afghanistan. China's Taiwan Affairs Office has said that authorities will be on high alert for any activity that poses a threat to China's sovereignty and territory. The statement comes following media reports that the EU is calling for Navy patrols in the Taiwan Strait. China's recent naval and air force drills in the Taiwan Strait have drawn criticism from Europe. A UN Special Envoy has said that the US and Saudi brokered ceasefire in Sudan appears to be partially holding. However, there is no sign that the warring parties are ready to seriously negotiate. The fighting broke out between Sudan's armed forces and the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group on April 15th. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres described the violence in Sudan as heartbreaking. He has said that the power struggle puts Sudan's future at risk and could cause suffering for years. Russian FM Lavrov has said that Sudan has the right to use services of Russia's Wagner private military group. Wagner has so far denied operating in Sudan and said it has nothing to do with the fighting taking place in the country. In March 2022, Western diplomats in Khartoum said that Wagner was involved in illicit gold mining in Sudan. Sudan had denied this allegation. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has criticized the Russian invasion of Ukraine and called it an insane war. During a visit to Spain, Lula said his country is committed to finding a peace formula to end the conflict. This comes days after Lula made a statement in which he appeared to blame Ukraine for the war. The death toll in Kenya's starvation case cult case has increased to 89. Exhumation sites have been cordoned off. Kenya's Interior Minister has called for the group's leader, Paul McKenzie, to spend the rest of his life in prison. He's also said that anyone who assisted him by digging graves or disposing of bodies should also face the harshest penalties under the law. This year, Israel marks its 75th Independence Day. It comes in the backdrop of protests against a proposed judicial overhaul. Hundreds of thousands of Israelis have been protesting every week since the beginning of the year. Their anger is directed against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Protesters see the overhaul as a threat to Israel's democracy. US President Joe Biden and South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol visited the Korean War Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. The memorial commemorates the Korean War, which took place from 1950 to 1953. Yoon is the first South Korean leader to pay a state visit to the US in 12 years. The visit marks the 70th anniversary of bilateral ties between the US and South Korea. Former US President Donald Trump has released a video in response to US President Joe Biden's candidacy. He said, and I quote, "Biden has totally humiliated our nation on the world stage and has led us to the brink of the Third World War." An opinion poll was completed a day before Biden announced his re-election bid. It showed that the American public is not interested by the prospect of a rematch between Biden and Trump. A summit in Bogota in Colombia, which was on Venezuela's political crisis, has concluded. Colombia's foreign minister said that the delegation from 20 countries, including the United States, support easing sanctions against the Venezuelan government. This is if Venezuela pledges to hold free and transparent elections. People in the South American nation of Uruguay are protesting. They took to the streets as lawmakers voted on a bill to gradually increase the retirement age in the country from 60 to 65 years. One of the protesters said that the government is asking them to work for 5 more years and receive less pension than they had until now. British American Tobacco has agreed to pay more than $600 million. This is to settle charges that it violated US sanctions by selling cigarette material to North Korea for years. This is by far the most severe action taken by US authorities against a company for violating sanctions against North Korea. France's civil security troops are preparing to deal with wildfires during the summers. The Chief of Staff of France's Civil Security said that we will have practically 50 departments out of the 100 that will be affected by the risk of forest fires. He said that the objective is to set up a detailed analysis of the dangers on the whole French territory in the next 3 years. Climate activists in Berlin glued themselves to the asphalt and blocked traffic. On Monday, police arrested around 200 people as they held sit-ins on the roads across the country. Protesters were demanding better climate protection. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's government has voiced their opposition to this form of protest. Spain is bracing for a week of extreme heat. Temperatures are likely to go as high as 40 degrees Celsius. This would be the highest temperature recorded in the country for the month of April since Spain started keeping records in 1961. Officials are laying out plans to open public swimming pools early. High temperatures are coinciding with a long-running drought in the country. A rapid heating of the world oceans has alarmed scientists. They're concerned that the phenomenon will add to global warming. This month, the global sea surface has hit record high temperatures. Scientists worry that the world's temperatures could reach a new level by the end of next year. Warmer oceans can kill marine life, lead to more extreme weather, and raise sea levels. Chinese conglomerate Alibaba has said that it's slashing the prices of its cloud services. It will cut prices by as much as 50%. Prices of its core products will be reduced by 15 to 50% from May 7th. The move is aimed at winning users from its rivals like Tencent Holdings. This comes at a time when Alibaba is also considering spinning off its cloud computing unit. British coffee chain Pret has raised the prices of its monthly coffee subscription. It has raised the prices by 20% to £30 or nearly $40. However, it expanded food discounts to include a 10% reduction on everything sold in its shops. Pret had begun the subscription services in September 2020 for £20 a month. In February last year, it increased the prices to £25 a month. Apparel retailer Gap is eliminating hundreds of jobs in a new round of layoffs. This is expected to impact its workforce globally. On April 18th, the company reportedly began notifying employees of the cuts in its international sourcing division. The company will begin laying off employees in its San Francisco headquarters from this week. Howard Davies, the chairman of British retail bank NatWest, is stepping down. Davies is considered to be a banking veteran and one of the most storied figures in UK finance. He said that he would leave the bank by next year. This comes as he approaches the completion of 9 years in his position. That is the recommended limit under UK corporate governance rules. Consumer goods company Reckitt has announced Chris Litt as the upcoming Chief Executive Officer. Chris will succeed present CEO Nicandro Durante. As per reports, Chris will take over the position by the end of this year. Licht has been serving as the president of Reckitt's health business and as chief customer officer since July 2020. Logistics company United Parcel Service has said that it's confident on agreeing on a new contract with the Teamsters union. The company has said that it's most likely reach a deal by July end. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters is a labor union in the US and Canada. The union covers more than 300,000 US drivers, package handlers, and loaders at the firm. Their demands include better pay, elimination of overtime, and protection from hot weather, amongst others. Air conditioner maker Carrier Global has said that it would buy a unit of German industrial firm Wiesmann Group. This unit makes heating boilers and heat pumps. Carrier will reportedly buy the unit for more than $12 billion. Japan's iSpace has said that its attempt to make the first ever private moon landing has failed. This was after it lost contact with the lander. The startup said that the lander probably crashed on the lunar surface. It is said that the lander possibly approached the moon but miscalculated the distance to the surface, causing it to crash. Tinder is rolling out an AI-powered update to its photo verification feature. The feature helps the app's users to corroborate the identity of the other person. Tinder has said that it's strengthening this process by requiring a video selfie instead of photos. The company says that the changes will make the app safer for its users. OpenAI is introducing what it calls an incognito mode for its chatbot ChatGPT. This will not save users' conversations history or use it to improve its AI. The startup has also said that it's planning to launch a ChatGPT Business subscription. ChatGPT Business will reportedly have additional data controls. Moving on to sports. In cricket, England batter Johnny Bairstow hit 97 runs for Yorkshire after returning from an injury. Bairstow hit 13 fours and 2 sixes in his innings and looks to build on his fitness before the upcoming Ashes Test series. The wicketkeeper batsman had injured his leg in a freak accident on a golf course last year. In Test cricket, Minnows Ireland created history against Sri Lanka in the ongoing Test series. The match is being played at the Gale Stadium in Sri Lanka. Ireland took full advantage of the batting conditions and piled up 492 runs, their highest Test score ever. Irish batters Paul Stirling and Curtis Campher scored individual centuries. Captain Andy Balbirnie also contributed to the historic score with a 95-run knock. Ireland only gained Test playing status in 2017 and have lost all 5 Test games so far. In football, Leicester's Jamie Vardy scored a crucial goal to earn his side a 1-1 draw against Leeds. Hosts Leeds scored first with a header from Louis Sinisterra in the 20th minute. In the 70th minute, 36-year-old Jamie Vardy was called up from the bench. The veteran striker broke his long goal-scoring drought with the equaliser. Vardy's equaliser helped his team gain 1 point, saving them from relegation in the Premier League. Continuing in the Premier League, hosts Wolves handed Crystal Palace a 2-0 defeat. Joaquim Anderson's early own goal and a late penalty from Ruben Neves secured 3 vital points for the Wolves. The victory moves Wolves to the 13th place, keeping them clear of the relegation zone. As they ended Crystal Palace's unbeaten run under stand-in manager Roy Hodgson. In La Liga, Real Madrid were handed a crushing 4-2 defeat against hosts Girona. Girona's Valentin Castellanos, nicknamed Tati, scored 4 goals against Real. Real's Vinicius Jr. and Lucas Vazquez scored the 2 goals for their side. With 7 games left to play, second-placed Madrid's title chances are in tatters after the loss to Girona. In tennis, Wimbledon has banned the flags of Russia and Belarus from this year's championships. Several Russian and Belarusian players have signed personal declarations stating that they will compete as neutrals. They also said they will refrain from making any statements regarding the war. Wimbledon has also promised to fund the accommodation of Ukrainian players. £1 will be donated to Ukraine's relief efforts for every Wimbledon ticket sold. Formula One has confirmed a new format for the 2023 season. The new format, called Sprint Shootout, will be implemented starting with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix this weekend. F1's new format will see Friday's qualifiers set the grid for Sunday's race, while Saturday will feature the Sprint Shootout, which will set the order of the 100-kilometer race that follows. The new format gives drivers a second chance for qualifying for the Sunday race. In MotoGP, Honda's Marc Marquez has dropped out of the Spanish Grand Prix. Marquez announced that he was still recovering from a hand injury. He suffered this from a collision at the Portugal GP in March. 6-time MotoGP champion has undergone surgery. He hopes to compete in the upcoming France GP scheduled for May. In basketball, the Denver Nuggets and Phoenix Suns advance in the NBA playoffs. The Nuggets won 112-109 against Minnesota Timberwolves, while the Suns won 136-130 against the Los Angeles Clippers. Both teams won their respective series 4-1. They'll play each other in the Western Conference semifinals in Denver on Saturday. In MMA, New Orleans police have issued an arrest warrant against UFC welterweight fighter Nate Diaz. The 38-year-old faces charges of second-degree battery. This is after a video went viral of Diaz apparently choking an unidentified man unconscious. If convicted, Diaz may face up to 8 years in prison, a $2,000 fine, or both. Netflix has finally announced the Heartstopper Season 2 release date for the upcoming second installment of the popular coming-of-age dramedy. The latest season will feature the return of Kit Connor and Joe Locke as Nick and Charlie. The romantic dramedy is scheduled to make its return on August 3rd. Netflix's most loved non-English show, Lupin, is returning back with Season 3 of the franchise. The streaming service plans to broadcast Season 3 at the start of October 2023. The first season of Lupin premiered on Netflix on January 8, 2021. The second season was made available on June 11, 2021. Warner Bros. Discovery has acquired the forthcoming 7th season of animated kids series Totally Spies. The franchise will return to screens in 2024, following its original 6-season run from 2001 to 2013. Season 7 of the Spy-Fi series follows the 3 female agents as they move to a new city and take on a fresh crop of villains. The series will premiere on Cartoon Network in the US next year before launching on streamer Max in EMEA. Amazon is developing a series version of Hollywood classic movie The Magnificent Seven with True Detective creator Nick Pizzolatto. It was intended to be an original series but was refashioned to be a new take on the Western classic. Pizzolatto previously co-wrote 2016 movie The Magnificent Seven. It was a remake of the John Sturges classic inspired by Akira Kurosawa's 1954 Japanese movie Seven Samurai. Conor McGregor has revealed new details about his upcoming Netflix sports documentary series. The Irish UFC star took to Twitter on Tuesday to unveil a trailer for the show McGregor Forever. He's also set to make his film acting debut soon in a remake of the classic 80s action flick Roadhouse. McGregor has already been the subject of his own documentary film, which received a cinematic release back in 2017. Amber Heard is set to return as Mera in the upcoming film Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. The trailer for the movie was shown during the ongoing CinemaCon, and it briefly showed Heard back as the love interest of Aquaman. Heard's Mera character was first introduced in the 2017 film Justice League before becoming a protagonist in 2018's Aquaman alongside Momoa. Kraven the Hunter will be Sony Pictures' first R-rated Marvel movie. This was confirmed by Golden Globe winner Aaron Taylor Johnson. He also provided CinemaCon attendees with a first look at the superhero movie. Kraven the Hunter will feature Aaron Taylor Johnson as he takes on the mantle of the titular Spider-Man villain. Veteran actor Denzel Washington has been given a surprise Lifetime Achievement Award at the ongoing CinemaCon. Washington thanked the audience for their unwavering support throughout his career. In a career spanning more than 4 decades, Washington has appeared in over 50 films. He's also won numerous awards, including 2 Academy Awards, 3 Golden Globe Awards, a Tony and a Screen Actors Guild Award. Oprah Winfrey has introduced the first trailer for Warner Bros. The Color Purple. The new offering is based on Alice Walker's book and the musical adaptation of the novel. Set in the South during the early 1900s, The Color Purple was lensed in the Atlanta area by 2-time Academy Award-nominated cinematographer Dan Lostsen. Flowers were placed on the Hollywood Walk of Fame star of Harry Belafonte on Tuesday after it was announced that the singer, songwriter, and groundbreaking actor died at the age of 96. He was the first black performer to win a major Emmy in 1960. Among his many accolades, Belafonte received an Academy Award in 2014 for his humanitarian work.